So I like to say Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh Shah, Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakak Kwadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS, and salutations to you brothers out there that's doing this work in truth and sincerity. Now I know that the last video had a little, noise, but that's the AC. I'm in my car. It's a little hot out here, and and AZ. Don't get AC and AZ mixed up. You know what I'm saying? But let's keep going. So going back into where we left off, just a real quick recap. So this guy is saying that the angels, which has sex with man and fish, with the mixture of with the mixing of DNA with the animals or with fishes, they have become an abomination. So we're just breaking down the whole angels, the giants, and the whole fish ideology that he's bringing up. We're gonna break that down and prove how wrong he is and his whole ideology. It just doesn't make sense, man. So let's keep going. So we're going into Genesis to prove that there was man created on earth before the Lord have chosen Adam and Eve to go out and have children of their own, and he was going to choose out of their lineage. He was going to choose men from out of their lineage. So Genesis 1:26, and God, and I said in the last video, I'll read it in verbatim. And God said, let us make men in our image. Now, when you go into that word, when you go into image, you can link that up with Wisdom of Solomon 7:26, which the image of God is wisdom. And in wisdom, you would keep the commandments. So the image of God is righteousness. That's what he have given these men from Adam, Seth. Going back into the book of Luke, the 3rd chapter, he have given these men what? The law. Now, I'm not talking about on the tablets, but this is an oral law, right? Because now, why do I say it's an oral law? Is that something I'm just throwing out there? No, because if you go back to I believe that's Genesis 26:5, it tells you that Abraham kept his charge, his laws, and his statutes. Well, what laws, statutes, and his charge did Abraham keep if the laws wasn't given into them yet? How did Noah know the animals that was clean and unclean before the law was even given to them? That means they had an oral law. Before the law was written on a tablet, it was an oral law, right? And we're proving that just by saying, the point in time in Abraham, he had it. Adam, he had it. Noah had it. It was an oral law. So Genesis, I even tell you that Adam have sin. But wait, sin is a transgression of the law. The law wasn't even given to Adam yet. So how did Adam sin if he didn't have the tablets of stone? Right? Salakia, bear with me. Right, so that's something that you will have to explain. If that's something you will have to explain. So let's keep going on here. So going back to Genesis 1:24, it says, and God said, let the, hold up, 26, my bad, 26. And God said, let us make men in our image. And again, that's going back to the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 26. It says, for all wisdom is the performance of the law, right? So it says, matter of fact, let me get it, because I don't want people to just think that I'm just coming out of my butt with this, right? So now, you got those that don't believe in the Apocrypha, but if you literally buy a 1611 KJV Bible, the Apocrypha is in the book. The Apocrypha was taken out in the 1800s, which means before the 1800s, the Apocrypha was a part of the Bible. Now, why did they take out the Apocrypha? They took out the Apocrypha because the Protestant church mentioned that there was contradictions between the Apocrypha, books of the Apocrypha, and the Bible, which no one gives them the authority to take out the book. First and foremost, the scripture says, "He that taketh away, he that addeth or taketh away, he shall be removed out of the book of life." So going back into Wisdom of Solomon 7:26, it says, It says, for she is the brightness. Now, she is Sophia, which is wisdom, right? For she is the brightness of the... Actually, let me start up here, man. Let me start at 25, because it's actually going to tell you the breath in Genesis as well. So what is the breath? For she is the breath of the power of God and a pure influence flowing from the glory of the Almighty. Therefore can no defiled thing fall into her. For she is the brightness of the everlasting light, the unspotted mirror of the power of God, and the image of his goodness. Right? So let's get this in Ecclesiastes, I think that's 19 and 18. It says, right, Ecclesiastes 19 and 18. The fear of the Lord is the first step to be accepted of him, and wisdom obtaineth his love. The knowledge of the commandments of the Lord is the doctrine of life, and they that do things that please him shall receive the fruit of the tree of immortality. The fear of the Lord is all wisdom, and in all wisdom is the performance of the law and the knowledge of his omnipotence. So let's go back to that Genesis. This is why I said Isaiah 28 and 9, precept must be upon precept, line upon line, to get the understanding of the Bible, right? With this bug out, I don't know what he's talking about. But Genesis 1 and 26. And God said, let us make man in our image. We just proved what the image was, right? It's righteousness after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creepy thing that creepeth upon the earth. So God created men in his own image, and the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. Right? So the Lord already created male and female upon the earth. And if you go farther, he said what? For they shall be called Adam. They shall be called Adam, to roughly paraphrase it. Right? So the Lord, and the word Adam goes back to actually, if you go into the word Adam in the etymology, it means from the ground. From the ground. So let's keep going. It says, let's keep going. Let's go ahead and get Genesis back in Genesis 6. So Genesis 6, and let's just go back to the top. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and the daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God, remember, men were created on the earth. The sons of God represent Adam, Seth, and the lineage from them on down. It doesn't represent everybody in the world. It only represents Adam, Seth, and that lineage. That's it. It does not represent Cain and his lineage, just Adam and Seth. It says, and those that came out of that lineage, that line, that the sons of God saw the daughters of man, that they were fair, and the daughters of man are who? The other nations, right? And they took them wives of all which they choose. This isn't talking about fallen fucking angels, man. And excuse my French, because I know, you got some of them Christians. Look at that. He's cutting cuss words. He's swearing. When you go into that Hebrew word swearing, it means to make a covenant. That's it. The words that we use today are actually not in the Bible. But if you feel offended of this, that's on you. The scripture says they're rude in speech, but not in knowledge. It says, Genesis 6 and 2, that the sons of God sought out the daughters of man, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. Oh, and we can also prove the sons of men even farther. Even after that, even after all of this, the Lord chose Israel to be the sons of God. So even going back, when you go into that lineage of the Israelites, that lineage goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So if you're reading Luke, the 3rd chapter, it's going to go into that whole lineage. And these are the chosen out of that lineage. Matter of fact, let me get that in Exodus 4 and 22 real quick. Exodus 4 and 22. And the scripture says, and thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, thus saith the Lord. Like I said, I'll read it in verbatim, but we know here it means Yahweh. Thus saith the Lord, Israel is my son, even my firstborn. And I say, and is this talking about Yahweh Shah, who you call Jesus? No, it says Israel. Now we know that in Genesis, I believe that's 32 or 36, where Jacob's name was changed to Israel, and out of the seed of Jacob was going to come the Israelites. So when it's talking about Israel, it's in this context, it's talking about all of Israel. So it says, and thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, thus saith the Lord, Israel is my son, even my firstborn. And I say unto thee, let my son go, that he may serve me. And if thou refuse to let him go, behold, I will slay thy son, even thy firstborn. Man, that's deep. That's deep. That's a cut on this fallen angels having sex with men doctrine. That's a bunch of crap, man. That's a bunch of crap. All right, what is that other one? I think it's Hosea 11 and 1. It says Hosea 11 and 1. It says, when Israel was a child, that I loved him and called my son out of Egypt. As they called them, so they went from them. They sacrificed unto Balaam and burned incense to graven images. So that's another point to prove who the sons of God are. That lineage, Luke the 3rd chapter, that's proven who the sons of God are. It's not that hard that Genesis the 6th chapter is talking about Adam, Seth, and out of his seed are the sons of God. Like I said, it represents two. It represents the angels, and it represents Seth, Adam, Seth on down. That's it. Right? So we understand that the angels make no marriage. So who is it talking about? It's talking about the lineage that came out of Adam and Seth. Simple as that. It's not that difficult, man. It's not that difficult. But y'all make it difficult. So again, Genesis 6 and 1. And I know I keep going back into the first verse, but you know, we got to keep going into this. This is about repetition, so you can get the understanding of what's going on, so you don't misconstrue what's being brought up. So I'm gonna end it from here and say Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahweh Shah, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakak, Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS, and salutations to you brothers out there that's doing this work in truth and sincerity. I like to say Shalom.